Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this month's episode of Pegasus. I am your host, Dr. Brittany Moore Henderson. Halloween is one of the most anticipated holidays of the year. Everyone gets the opportunity to put on their favorite costume and indulge in some tasty treats. Sometimes our pets get the opportunity to participate in all the fun. But as some of you may know, Halloween can be very potentially hazardous to our pets. So joining me today to discuss how we can make Halloween safe for our pets is Dr. Christy Chavez, Assistant Clinical Professor and Service Chief of our Emergency and ICU Service here at Mississippi State University College of Veterinary Medicine. Dr. Chavez, it's a pleasure for you to join me today.
It's good to be here.
So, Dr. Chavez, so getting started, you just recently just joined the faculty here. So can you tell me first a little bit about you when you're in here at the vet school and then going out into your career and now being back here joining us on our faculty?
Sure. So I graduated here in 2007, kind of left here, went out into the North Mississippi area, kind of went back home. And joined a 24/7 emergency general practice in Horn Lake, Mississippi. Basically, we just covered general practice during the day and then took emergency overnights and emergency calls through the evening into the next day. I was there for 12 years. And then I got the opportunity to come back here and do some teaching and do some mentorship and things, which had been something that I just really found a passion for while I was out in private practice. And so I took that opportunity and I started here on March 1st.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Chavez, so you have always somewhat been in emergency pretty much. So I'm sure you have always been prepared for the Halloween season. So what are some of the potential hazards that you've seen our pets get into during the Halloween season?
So I would say the biggest potential hazard we have with Halloween is chocolate. Everybody loves chocolate. And, it comes in a wide variety of from anywhere from baker's chocolate all the way to milk chocolate. And we love it, and our pets tend to try and love it too. The biggest issue being is that they can't eat chocolate like we can. It's fairly hazardous to them, especially those little dogs. They get in a big chocolate bar, and that's a lot of chocolate. Basically, the way chocolate works is it's a lot like caffeine. Same family, and it has a significant effect on our little ones. So generally what will happen is they get into the chocolate, and then they have symptoms like, sometimes they just get simple GI symptoms, like vomiting, diarrhea, something of that nature. But if they get a high enough dose of this, then they will get things like tremors, their heart rate will be really fast, they'll be really, really tense. Sometimes they'll even have seizure activity at very, very high doses. And so you want to try to avoid chocolate at all costs with your pets. One thing to remember, though, is that the more concentrated, the more toxic it is. So milk chocolate is not as bad as, say, dark chocolate, and dark chocolate's not as bad as baker's chocolate, those kinds of things. And so just something to remember, as you're kind of going through Halloween and enjoying some candy, is that, keep that away from your pets.
Exactly.
I would say, that's probably the biggest one we see as far as Halloween goes.
Okay. And so I know you said that milk chocolate is one of the least, hazardous to our pets. What would you say for if clients just don't know what type of chocolate it was? How should they proceed with dealing with their pet at that particular time?
If your pet gets into chocolate, I would first contact your veterinarian immediately. If you have one that's emergency, then by all means, contact them if your regular vet's not available to you, and kind of go through that, because there are dosages to it, just depending on how much it is, those kinds of things. That way they can direct you as to what to do. A lot of times they're going to direct you that if it just ate it, your best option is to come in and let's induce vomiting. Let's get that chocolate out of there so that we don't have to worry about those toxic effects. And then, we can treat from there to kind of decontaminate and get that under control. If you come home 2-3 hours later and your pet's already having issues, you've already seen vomiting or diarrhea, or your pet's acting very anxious or having issues, I would by all means contact your emergency veterinarian or your regular veterinarian if they do after hours care immediately, and get them in there so we can get that taken care of as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we definitely want that to happen. I guess another thing, because like you said, we think about chocolate, but I think gum is another thing, another treat that we see around Halloween time. Does that pose a risk to our pets?
Gum poses a risk. One is a foreign body, so if you get a lot of gum in there and it gets gummed up, basically gums up the system, gets stuck in the intestines or blocks the stomach, something of that nature, that can be an issue. The other issue that people don't think a lot about is your sugar replacements. So one of the biggest issues with gum in dogs is that a lot of that gum contains xylitol. And xylitol is actually a very toxic substance to your pets. It causes their body basically to react and to release a whole lot of insulin, and causes their blood sugar to drop fairly rapidly. And then at some points, it will also cause some damage to the liver. So with those pets, same thing. If you see it or know they ate it within a short amount of time, get with your regular vet so we can get that out of there and hopefully not have to have any issues. If you don't know when it happened and your pet's having issues, low blood sugar, usually they're very lethargic. You can tell they don't feel well, and sometimes it can progress to seizures. So you want to watch for those things and try to keep, any sugar-free products out of your pet's hands. I know we talk a lot about xylitol with gum. I actually treated a pet once that got into sugar-free candy corns around Halloween.
Oh, wow.
That contain xylitol. And so, gum is one of the biggest ones, but there's xylitol in a lot of things, and there's actually xylitol in some over-the-counter chewable medications, those kinds of things. And so that's one of those things that we definitely keep an eye out for.
Okay. And what would you say about, I know, of course, sometimes we like to put our pets in their, costumes. What would you say is, I guess I would think a foreign body would be the next thing to think about when dealing with costumes. How would you tell owners how to deal with that if they believe their pet has probably gotten hold to a foreign body or a material off of their costume?
I would say, the biggest concern with that is just that if there is an obstruction, and sometimes the things that you don't think would cause an obstruction in these big dogs, or sometimes these little dogs will pass the largest things. And so anytime you have a costume, the biggest thing is just basically keeping an eye on them. Try and monitor them carefully while they're wearing their costume, just so, we hope not for them not to chew that up. If they do chew it up, and they do swallow some, then the biggest concern is it going to cause a problem? Is it going to block up the intestines or the stomach, something of that nature? Now, if they ate it, and you can always, call your regular vet and kind of talk to them. In rare cases, sometimes if it's just in the stomach, you can actually perform an endoscopy and put a camera down there with through a scope, and they can actually remove that foreign body before it starts to cause an issue. But if you dog chewed something up, and let's say they just started having really rare symptoms such as vomiting or diarrhea or not eating, they don't feel well, maybe their tummy hurts, something of that nature, then at that point you want to go ahead and bring it into your vet so they can figure out what's going on. Because if it isn't a foreign body, then we need to take care of that as quickly as possible, because the longer it's in there, the more damage it can do.
Oh, and that's definitely, we want to do that for our pets, because you definitely don't know, and you don't want to take that chance. So if an owner, for instance, could not get in touch with their primary vet, or couldn't get in touch maybe with us, what is a resource that they can use, definitely if they think their pet had ingested chocolate or ingested gum? What is a good resource they can have to try to figure out what they should do next?
Right. So if you have a toxin of any kind, even if it's not chocolate or gum, something of that nature, the ASPCA actually has a hotline that you can call, and you should be able to Google that, find the hotline. I think there's a small fee for it, but they have veterinarians on staff with their poison control center that can basically help you figure out what you need to do if there's steps to be taken. And they're very good. And when you get that, they actually give you a case number. And then if you get a hold of an emergency center and you need to go see them, let's say they say you need to go see somebody immediately, they talk to those veterinarians, they go over that case with them, they tell them what they know and the toxic doses, and they go through the whole thing with them. I've had very good experiences with owners that have called the poison hotline, with them being very, very helpful to them and very, very helpful to me.
Exactly. And and like you said, the thing is, if they call that hotline, they would then get a case number pretty much, and if they end up bringing their pet into the clinic, the veterinarian then can take over, and they have opportunity to communicate back and forth with that particular toxicologist throughout that pet's time at the clinic. So that is definitely a good resource. So Dr. Chavez, is there any other hazard that you can think of, or is there any other information you would like to let our guests know how they can prepare for the holiday season with their pets?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is just remember that your pets are a lot like small children and they like to get into things. And so you want to just be really careful to keep things out of reach. One of the things that, we don't think a lot about and is not as common in Halloween candy, but like Raisinets and things that have raisins in them. You do need to remember that raisin, the chocolate itself is not good, but the raisins that are contained in some of these candies or granola bars or things that some people may want to hand out, healthy snacks for Halloween. Remember that those raisins are also toxic and hazardous to your pets. They actually cause some pretty significant kidney issues. And so if your pet gets into raisins or that they ate raisins, definitely do the same thing. Contact the appropriate people so we can take care of that issue. My sister's personal dogs twice have gotten into Raisinets, and now raisins aren't allowed in her house at all. So definitely something to think about.
Yes, we definitely don't want those issues. So thank you, Dr. Chavez, for joining us. And that definitely, I believe, are some helpful tips to make sure that our pets stay safe this Halloween season. So thank you again for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So, do you have someone that may be interested in veterinary medicine? Mississippi State College of Veterinary Medicine offers a variety of different outreach opportunities for students. We have a VetAspire program. This particular program is for students that may have an interest in veterinary medicine. They actually have the opportunity to be a veterinary student for the day. We do have sessions open this fall, but we'll also have some this upcoming spring. So like I said, if you have anyone that may have some interest in veterinary medicine and wants to gain more exposure and be a veterinary student for the day, please have them to visit our website to sign up for our VetAspire program. If you are also interested in attending veterinary school or just following and trying to figure out some different tips that can help you be successful in the application cycle, you can follow us on our different social media outlets as we give you weekly tips on how to prepare for veterinary school. You can also visit us on our YouTube channel where we post various programs about all our different opportunities at Mississippi State. So this concludes Pegasus. If you have any questions or suggestions about today's show, please feel free to contact me at any time at brittany.henderson@msstate.edu. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you next time here on Pegasus.